Hello, happy Thursday. Thankful Thursdays, we call it. So I am so excited. Why I should say ecstatic to be here with my great friend and professional, Adrienne Ashford Velazquez. And I'll just introduce a little bit to her and kind of let you know what we'll be doing today. So first of all, thank you for everybody that's listening in. This is Legacy and Me podcast, Legacy and Me. We all have a legacy inside of us. It all starts with us, with our DNA. So today I'm so excited that we'll have Adrienne with us, and she'll share with us her journey about her legacy as we go through. So I do see Genevieve in the room. Thank you, Genevieve, on Clubhouse. So we have Zoom going on, we have Clubhouse going on. And Genevieve, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions throughout the process, please feel free to chat in Clubhouse. And I want to make sure Adrienne's able to address any questions out there, which I know she will. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce my great friend and professional, Adrienne Ashford Velazquez. She is founder of the Seven Figure Boss and Seven Figure Boss Summit and so many other things. So I'll let her explain that as we go through the journey here. But I do want to share a little bit about her before we have her get started. So Adrienne has an extensive background in helping entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, overcome self-doubt, barriers that they thought they just couldn't do it, anxiety, all those things. But she replaces that with confidence and helps their business grow in a way you would not believe. And also being able to build generational wealth and longevity. She has an awesome tagline, a slogan, and she'll share that with you shortly. With no further ado, Adrienne, it's all yours. I just want you to say a little bit about yourself. Yes, welcome, welcome. Hey.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Like she shared with you guys earlier, I am also known as the Seven Figure Boss. So I help you guys overcome past failures and limited beliefs by owning your power, your self-worth, and your resilience, knowing that you can build a six-figure plus empire. I am excited, like she always shared, I always leave it out with making sure that you guys are having $1 million choices. I said, Cynthia is phenomenal. She is definitely more than a legacy coach. She's amazing, and it's such an honor to be with you all today.
Thank you so much, Adrienne, for saying that and for sharing your vision, your mission as far as what you do. And I can tell you all, I personally know Adrienne, and that excitement she has, that's always there. So thank you, Adrienne, for bringing that to the room. I appreciate that. So what we'll be doing today is talking about legacy, because really legacy is about the things that we have inside of us, the lessons learned. And then also a lot of people correlate that with material assets, right? But I'll ask you this, Adrienne, how would you define legacy? How would you define it?
It's so crazy that you said that most people, look at the material part, but I also look at it as being your foot stamp here, for your generations to come. It's like you're laying out a blueprint, not only for your children, but for your grandchildren and your children's children and their grandchildren. But I feel like legacy, a lot of times, we don't realize that it's a lot more than your investments. It's a lot more than the dollar amount that you've left. And it also goes along with, protecting your things, because a lot of times we talk about a legacy, and I saw it when my mom passed. One, my mother left a legacy of love. So it's like, she's no longer here in her earthly vessel, but my kids feel it. And I'm seeing how my grandkids are feeling it. But the one biggest thing that I noticed that my mother did not do, Cynthia, and I learned so much from her, she did not protect her legacy. Oh. So she did not make sure she had the right things in place so our grandkids would be able to see my mother's foot stamps here. Yes. And I think it's so important that we protect it.
Wow. And Adrienne, you touch my heart when you say that, right? Because first of all, I can feel, and I know every person you work with, you share that love with them. So that's great that you're continuing to carry that legacy that your mother left for you. That's fantastic. And you talk about protecting it. As you know, that's something that I really encourage people to do as well. Always protect your legacy. And it could be your lessons learned, writing them down so that you can share those as you go forward, but also, or yet also your material assets, making sure that you have a will and a trust, and also you trademark your brand. That's something that is always, always so important to be there. And I'm so sorry that you said your mom did not have one.
She did not do it.
Yes.
So we turned around and we did things differently with my dad. You
Okay.
know, some of the things, of course, now my dad had a stroke, so he's not able to speak the way that he used to. But we wish that my dad would have wrote down, the lessons that he learned and his come up and going through the military, and how did he, make it through adversity, being, in most cases, the only African American. So he did not write those things down, but he did share those stories with me and my sisters. So in return, we're able to share them with our kids. But it was like, could you imagine how sweet it would be if my kids were able to get a book
Exactly.
from their grandfather? It would just be inseparable.
Yes. And Adrienne, that's why I love our discussions, because they're always caught, like the neurons are going off in my mind. Like, yes, write a book about your family, do it. Don't just say you're going to do it, but do it, because we have a prime example here of in your case with your mom, and then also with your dad, his caretaker, and you'd love to hear those and carry that on through your children and your grandchildren as well. So that's something, if anyone, all of you listening in, take note of that. Start doing that with your family, making sure you're writing down those lessons learned so that you can carry them on and leave that stamp or footprint, as Adrienne mentioned earlier. So Adrienne, thank you for sharing that. And I know you are a fantastic caregiver with your dad, and I look forward to meeting him in person very soon. So
It's happening soon.
yes, yes, it is. So that's a little, just kind of little breadcrumb there, because we'll be talking about that very shortly here. But I do want to find out, because legacy is all about past, present, and future, right? As you talked about, it's leaving that stamp for the future generations. Can you share with us a little bit about where you came from, right? Your past, what has led you to where you are now? Because that's so important about getting to know a person. What's that part of your journey that has led you here, Adrienne?
So, like I like to share with a lot of people, I wish I was born with that silver spoon in my mouth, but I wasn't. I'm born to two amazing parents, where my mother was raised up in Cuthbert, Georgia, on a plantation. And my father, a Jersey boy, with immigrant parents that came over from Jamaica, for a better life. And when we were younger, I watched my parents, succeed in life, because my parents were teenage pregnancy. So because, they dealt with the teenage pregnancy, my father wanted to be a great provider. He went into the military for his family in order to be able to provide. But I watched how the first neighborhood that we lived in, it was not the best neighborhood. But my mother used to always tell us, because we live in the hood, that does not mean the hood lives in you.
There you
And
go.
she would always tell us that. And it wasn't until I got older where I understood that she was talking about the mentality, the mindset, because a person lives there, that does not mean that your mindset has to be there, And my mother, she really instilled in me to fight, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but I said one of the most defining moments in my life, what plays a huge role in the person I am today, was when I was raped at 15 years old. And I'll never forget the experience of coming home, my father seeing the blood, my mother coming to the hospital, and my mother leaned over that bed and she said, "You know what? You're going to hold your head up. You can do this."
Wow.
And my mother had me go back to the school the next day. And she was just like, nope, this is not going to define you, nor will this break you. So I pushed through all that. I ended up relocating from New Jersey, moving to San Antonio, Texas. And when I moved here, I was a hairstylist, and I was just like, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do? I would love to say that all my clients are going to fly to San Antonio, but you know what? I'm good, Cynthia, but that just did not happen. So, and here it is, both me and my husband, both without work, but we both had a dream, and we had the support system of my family that had relocated to San Antonio, Texas also. But I had a dream, I had a vision that I wanted to make the money, that I wanted to be on stages, I wanted to be speaking to thousands of people. And I remember that little 14-year-old girl when my mother said, you know what, you can do it. You're going to hold your head up and you're going to march out there and you're going to get it done. And I just grabbed the reins here in Texas. And some days, Cynthia, I feel like somebody needs to pinch me because I do not feel like I'm living my reality. A lot of days it feels like a dream, and I tell everybody, I said, to have a girl coming from, I call it rags to roaches, to live in the life of, of abundance right now, coming from that. I don't know if you remember, Cynthia, that little Plymouth Neon, but coming from a little, right, coming from a little tiny Plymouth Neon to driving $100,000 vehicle now, coming from a very tiny salon to owning a over 3,000 square feet spa, coming from such a limited mindset, because I had to do the work, I had to do the work, because my past kept on showing up for me.
Right.
And it wasn't things that people were doing to me. It was those past failures that I discussed earlier. And it was the limited beliefs that I had about myself. And I knew in order for me to make a change that I had to invest in people such as yourself, in order to do it, to get it done. But it was also too, it goes back to that legacy. I wanted to leave my kids. I did not want to leave a legacy of brokenness. And you and I both know, I adopted 3 out of my 4 children. And I said, I never really understood why was life so hard. It's like, let's face it, rape, infertility, grief, loss, all of it. And I'm like, God, why is this so hard? And then God showed me, he said, you know what? You look at these kids that you have in front of you, you have gone through just about everything.
Yes.
And you've made it. So you are going to be the living example to them. Like, I'm not putting up anything foo-foo. Guess what? Yeah, you were raped, but guess what? Your mom was too. And that did not define me. Yeah, you're struggling in school and you dealt with some disabilities, learning disabilities. So did your mom. But I did not allow for those moments to define who I was. I was just like, you know what? I want to show my kids what God says. God says that he created us, Cynthia, so we can have a life of abundance.
Yes. So Adrienne, I'll tell you, all these gems you laid out, and you touched my heart in so many ways, as you know, because there was, first of all, you talk about this legacy that your mom left for you and how you're carrying it on. That is key. Then you brought up about the mindset. That is so important. That mindset, that is part of our legacy that we carry on and through and share with others, not just our children or family, but our community, those around us. And you talked about the importance of support. And as you know, I correlate that with the word synergy, where the whole is greater than the individual parts. You have to have that support, right? So Adrienne, thank you so much for sharing that. And also your your vulnerability and authenticity and sharing what happened to you in the past and has led you up to this particular point, where you came from. And I wrote that down because I hate roaches, but rags to roaches. Where you are
Girl,
now.
it is what it is, you know?
I wrote that down. So you brought that up and look at where you are now. It's amazing, fantastic. And I really applaud you and I am so proud of you. And I know you're touching so many lives in positive ways, and it all comes down to mindset. That's a key part of it. So I do want to share, and I want to acknowledge Genevieve. She's been very active on Clubhouse and in the chat. And I just want to share with you, she is talking about very specific things about what you said. First of all, she said, "Ooh, I have chills, legacy of love." That's so strong. So thank you, Genevieve, for sharing that. And that's a testament to the love, legacy of love that Adrienne's mom has left and carried on, and Adrienne continues to carry it on. And then also, I love this suggestion she made when we talked about lessons learned. She said, "I write emails to my son. He will get them when he is 18. Oh my goodness, Genevieve, it's making me tears in my eyes. I am going to start that. That's amazing. Genevieve, thank you so much for sharing that. So go ahead.
Real quick. So do you want to hear something that's crazy? So Genevieve is about to have me go back into it. So I knew that God was going to bless me with a baby.
Okay.
And I wrote down, Cynthia, before my son even came.
Oh.
How I knew that God was going to bless me with him. And I said on his 13th birthday, which he's 13, but I don't know. Because me and my husband's like, maybe we should wait to 18 because you know how he's adopted.
Yes.
But I wrote all of these like letters to him in preparation of him coming. And I even wrote in there how to forgive his mom. And I thank God for his mother, because I'm like, if it wasn't for his mother, I wouldn't have you. So your mother did bless me, you know, but thank you so much, Genevieve, because now she's about to make me go back in there and say, son, I'm sorry that I stopped at like 6 months. Let me jump and pick back up at 13. But thank you. I love it.
Yes, and she put a note here. Oh, I love that. So beautiful. So yes, thank you, Genevieve, for sharing, and Adrienne for bringing that up. And speaking about adoption, you know that you and I have that same common thread, right? Or common foundation, because I adopted my son as well. My husband and I did. So that was truly a blessing and inheritance from God, right? So I really, I'm going to start this process that both of you have just recommended, and making sure that he will have something to take a look at, write those lessons down and take a look at. And in the future, when he's, let's say, in high school or whatever the case may be, I'll be able to share it. So fantastic. Thank you, Genevieve and Adrienne, for sharing that.
Yes.
That's awesome. For me, I always talk about takeaways, and I'll ask for takeaways from Genevieve, and anyone who's listening in now, write down those takeaways. What can you take back from this discussion and implement immediately? I guarantee you, Adrienne, this one is what I'm putting down as my takeaway. I'm
right.
So thank you. So thank you for sharing your journey up to this point, right? And I know you mentioned you have your spa, and can you say the name of your spa? Is that okay?
Yes, it's Joyez, Joyez.
That's right. So if you're in San Antonio, stop by. Adrienne will hook you up. She'll take care of you. So thank you so much, Adrienne. So we've learned a little bit more about you leading up to where you are now. And so can you share with us some of the things that you're doing now in this particular moment, and what you have planned for the future?
Yes. So back in 2019, I probably should say prior to 2019, but God had spoken to me. I was already a platform artist, global educator, traveling the world, talking to other stylists, helping them. At that time, I didn't even realize that what I was sharing was a gift. I was helping them build their businesses. I was helping them to not only have profitability, but to also have sustainability. And through COVID, that was how the 7-figure boss was birthed. And the 7-figure boss, you know, a lot of people, the first thing that they think about is money. But I also talk about how important it is to have the $7 million mindset, because without the mindset, you can't get the money. So, and I know throughout my life, throughout the periods that I've grown and taken quantum leaps, it all went back to my mind shift. So that was how I ended up creating the 7-figure boss, helping people build a 6-figure plus empire. And it was last year when God has said, you need to put together a summit. And God knows my personality. It could be a little stubborn. And I was like, no, God, I don't think I'm ready. And my coach was saying, no, you're ready. And I'm like, no. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll just do an in-person summit. And God was like, no, I told you to do a hybrid. I told you to do a summit that's going to be online, where you're allowing for people, whether they can't make it, to travel to you, or if people can't afford it, because that's the whole thing around it. I'm giving you no excuses, especially if you're able to have a seat free virtually. So me and my stubbornness, Cynthia, I was like, nope, I'm gonna do virtually, not listen. And then what happened? Everybody was like, no, why are you not doing in person? Do in person, in person, in person. So I was like, all right, God, went back to praying, talking to my husband about it. Sisters like such as you encouraged. And before I knew it, I went ahead and I switched it up, changed it to hybrid, was not expecting to get the turnout that I got immediately. Now, I was expecting that I was going to have a great turnout, but I thought I was going to really have to put in some footwork here. But I mean, I had everybody coming to me from left and right. And, you know, God had pressed on my heart the same thing that you do in your salon, because we do work with kids from foster care. We work with the foster care agency and the battered women's shelter. And God was like, you know what? I need for you to go ahead and do what you've had on your heart for about 13 years now. And God had told me a long time ago, and Cynthia, I know I'm like, I should have done it, but it was like, go ahead and start a duffel bag drive.
Ooh, okay.
And I thought the duffel bag drive was like at first so lame, but then I was like, you know what? God, you keep on telling me this, and you're telling me to do this for a reason. Because one, I hated the way all my children came to me.
Yeah.
All of my kids came to me in a garbage bag, you know, all of their things in a garbage bag. And my thing is, you are worth more than your belongings being in a trash bag. So I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to my adoption agency and I'm going to ask them. And when I asked the lady, and I thought she would probably is going to say, no, not duffel bags. You know, they need clothes or they need this. And when I told her duffel bags, it brought her to tears.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, is it a good thing or bad thing? And she was like, Adrienne, you just do not realize how I get so sick and tired of seeing our kids' things in garbage bags. But if that's all they have, that's what they use. Yeah. And when she said she didn't mind partnering with us, with the 7-figure boss, with this summit, I said, okay, well, guess what? I want 5 Latino and Black girls to be sitting in on this summit because we're going to be pouring into them. And she was even shocked. And I'm hoping and praying that I can raise more money because I'm sponsoring the 5 little Black girls and Hispanic girls. But I'm like, we get some more in, guess what? I'm going to have some more in those seats because they need to be fed too. You know, they need to be able to understand how poverty is a disease. And just because your parents had it, your grandparents had it, guess what? You don't have to bring it on to you. Leave it there. The lineup is amazing.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. It is amazing. It's like, I got you. So you are one. I'm like, okay, but the lineup is amazing. And it's just what every last one of you brings something unique.
Yes.
that will not only be poured to the 5 young ladies there, but will also be poured into the professional group of women that will also be in the room. Because I'm like, you know what? We need to be fed also, you
Yeah.
know? I just had a client on Saturday where she shared with me, she's been the director of the hospital down here. She's a kidney and liver surgeon. And Cynthia, on Saturday, she told me she's resigning.
Wow.
She
Wow.
will be at the summit. She told me she's resigning. Um, she's dealt with burnout, but she don't know how to start in something new.
Okay.
So this is a summit where I want for you to bring your ideas. I want for you to come with an open mind. I want for you to look at the most amazing speakers on stage, because the speakers that we have on stage, they are phenomenal coaches.
Yes.
So it's almost like they're going to be able to come and go shopping and pick, you know, pick the best coach out of all of you guys.
That's
So
right.
it's definitely going to be a treat. It's from December 8th through December 10th. And the 8th and 9th will be virtual. So it's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can, sign up, get yourself a free ticket so you can hear some of these phenomenal speakers. That's why I said they don't have no excuse, Cynthia.
That's right.
Or you guys can come down to San Antonio, Texas, and enjoy a beautiful 5-course meal. Also meet some of the celebrity guests that we have come in, meet the amazing speakers such as Cynthia, and come in person also, especially if you're in the surrounding areas. I know for San Antonio, this is the very first Women's Empowerment Summit here in this area. So we are extremely excited to have something like this come to San Antonio.
Wow. Well, first I have to say congratulations to you, Adrienne. That is fantastic. You had, and I always talk about this, that idea, the vision, the reality, and now here you are, you're making it happen. That is so amazing. So I just want to give you a round of applause. And I want to share here what Genevieve said. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. She said, I'm going to put this on my calendar. So awesome, Genevieve. Thank you.
Yes.
You have Adrienne jumping up and down over here, right, Adrienne? And then she also says, where can I find more information? Great question. She lives in Dallas. She'd love to be there in person.
Yes.
If somebody wants to find out more about the summit, what do they need to do?
So you can go to the THE7, all spelled out, Figure Boss Summit, and you can see everything there. And you can also go to the 7-Figure Boss and find me there also. So either way, every single platform, social, Clubhouse, you can find me. Yes. Instagram, Facebook, and also my page. But if you're looking for the summit, is the7figurebosssummit.com.
Yes. And Genevieve, great question. So there will be a replay for with this particular discussion. And in that replay, we'll have the specific information for Adrienne's contact information, but also about the summit. So we want to make sure everybody has what they need to be able to be there. And I love what Adrienne said about results, right? There's no excuses here. So one of my sayings, or a mantra that I follow, and I've used it all through my life, is, it sounds a little harsh, but it does get things done. Results, not excuses. Here, Adrienne is eliminating all your excuses. She's giving it to you free, virtually. Hello, free, FREE. So there you go. No excuses there. You can join there or in person. And as Adrienne mentioned, San Antonio is a beautiful place. It's like a gem. And here in Louisiana, there's a word called bijou. It's called the hidden gem. That's what San Antonio is. It's a gem. You'll be able to go see the area while you also benefit from this fantastic summit. So I definitely encourage anyone listening in and interested, please reach out. If you have any questions, you'll have Adrienne's contact information regarding that. And yes, I'm so proud and so excited and just ecstatic about being able to be on the same stage stage with Adrienne at the Seven Figure Boss Summit. So thank you for allowing me to do that, for that privilege and opportunity, Adrienne.
And if they want to meet you in person, up close and personal,
that's
they
right.
can come out and meet you Friday night, Cynthia.
Yes.
So we're also having a VIP segment. So if that is something that interests them, tell them most definitely to check it out, or they can do the VIP for Saturday morning to just be able to connect with you. I'm pretty sure they've been listening to your podcast forever, and they want to be able to put a physical body to that. So it's also a great way to connect with you.
Well, thank you, Adrienne. And I will say this, when Adrienne does something, she does not do it halfway. She does it 120%. So I know you will be pleasantly amazed, and just, it's going to be an awesome experience at the summit. So thank you so much, Adrienne. So we talked a little bit about that's a huge, huge future goal, but you're taking steps to make sure and have everything in place for that. So thank you. So as we close out here, and I do want to thank you for this time, for being here, Adrienne, can you share with us 3 gems or 3 top advice items that you would like to share with any entrepreneur out there, any individual out there, to really become the best version of themselves?
Yes. 1 is stop dreaming. But I want for you to turn that dream into manifestation. 2, I need for you to write down your goals. Your goals are road maps to success. How do you plan on ever getting anything done if you're not writing it down, you're not looking at it, and you're not setting these goals? And the last one would, to me, I say is huge. It's investing yourself. We will take so much time to go to a fancy restaurant, to buy a pair of shoes, to travel the world. But when we think about actually investing in a coach, and guys, this is not a pitch. When I'm sharing this is most definitely not a pitch. It's just sharing with you guys, especially my journey, because the first investment that I had with a coach was 20 years ago, and it changed my life. Invest in a coach, guys, especially if you see your life and your business stand at the same exact level, in the same exact place. You guys have Cynthia here. Let's be for real. You have Cynthia where she's a plethora of knowledge, to be able to share with you on not only your personal development, but also your business. So visualize, goal setting, and then also my last one, invest in yourself more than a Gucci purse or some Louis shoes, just saying. And like I always like to end it, guys, go out and make $1 million choices, because you can do it.
That's right. Oh my goodness. We all love those things, right? But before we get there to that Gucci and all those awesome things that we want, we need to make sure we're making the right choices to get to that point. So I love your 3 points, and I'm just going to restate those. Visualize your goals, goal setting, and then also making sure you invest in yourself. And you shared your personal experience, how that helped change your personal life. So thank you very much for sharing that. And I will attest to that. For example, I've done many things, yet I would not have written my children's book if I had not invested in a coach. That pushed me to move to that direction. So you need to make sure you surround yourself with individuals and a coach, somebody who can help you achieve those goals. So thank you so much for sharing that, Adrienne. And I also loved how you mentioned about it just touched a spot in my mind and my heart about being lifelong learners. You can never stop. If we stop, we die, right? So it's kind of like a body of water. If you stop movement in that body of water, it becomes stagnant and stinky, and nobody wants to be stinky. We all want to make sure that we're, alive and able to enjoy this and living and leaving a lasting legacy. So that's what it's about. So Adrienne, I can't stress enough how grateful I am to be able to be on the same platform here with you on this podcast, but also in December when we'll be together once again at the event. And, it pulls heartstrings for me because of the foster care and adoption process. And I'm so glad you got individuals involved in really making a positive positive impact, that stamp that you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the discussion. So thank you for your time. I know you're a busy woman,
Thank
a
you.
professional. I appreciate you being here. Genevieve, I really appreciate you being part of the room today with Clubhouse. I want to personally thank my virtual assistant, Norman, for assisting as well. Thank you so much for everybody listening in. Enjoy the rest of your day, this Thankful Thursday. I leave you with one homework assignment. Write down 3 things you're thankful for. Make sure you write them down because you will want to go back and take a look at those later. Thank you so much. You'll have a fantastic day. This is Cynthia Gallardo, your favorite legacy lady, signing off. Have a great day. Take care.